Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Claudette Esterine Campbell, and I am the president and chairperson of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. Yeah, we don't have any fancy start this evening because I'm getting slack, I'm getting lazy, I'm getting something, and I didn't do it. So we're just going to jump right into it. And I have my dear friends here with me. Well, at least two of them have joined me. So we're just going to get right to it. So let me bring them in. So there is my ever faithful Colleen is here, and my namesake Claudette. We call her Claudette squared here. so so she is here. Oh, and Ms. Brown just graced us with her presence. So we are about to start. We have a lot of things to cover this evening, just trying to share this to our other platforms. We have a few things to cover this evening. The name of the program is These Three Plus Things, which means that what we do once every month is the directors of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation and a guest. Tonight, there are four directors of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, but one of them is my daughter. She is a silent director, so it's usually myself, Clara, and Gloria who are here, and we invite someone else, with either Colleen or Claudette, to join us to host this conversation on current issues that stick in our craw, as we say in Jamaica, or I'm Jamaican, but I live in Canada for the past 20 odd years, but or issues that stood out for us. There's so many issues, so many news stories, so it's very hard to choose one, but hey, somebody has to do the hard work, and my dear ladies, they choose one such story, and we discuss that story. Sorry, I'm not looking up. I am trying to get this up on all of our devices. I am the technical person here. Okay, so there we go. Anyway, thank you for joining us. As I said, my name is Claudette Esterine Campbell. I am the president and chairperson of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. The Daughters of Sheba Foundation is a 4-year-old nonprofit organization based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's a Canadian nonprofit organization. Like I always feel a need to reiterate, we're not a charity, we're a nonprofit organization. So with me tonight is Colleen Creary Delamotta, Claudette Franciscu. I'm always get myself in trouble with the French Claudette. Claudette is in Jamaica. She's an award-winning baker and caterer and a member of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. Colleen is an educator and member of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, as well as she really helps me out with a lot of things. My phone is ringing and I am getting, I don't know why I keep getting these spam callers anyway. That will soon be fixed. And then we also have with us Clara Brown, who is the director secretary of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. So, like I said, we have 4 things. Is it 4 or 5 things to discuss tonight? So we're just going to jump right into it. And Claudette, I'm going to start with you. Claudette has 2 stories tonight. That's why we're starting with you. We're starting in Jamaica, then we're going to make our way across to Canada, then go back to Jamaica, and then we go to the UK. And okay, so we have a bit of traveling to do tonight. All right, so Claudette, the first story we want to start with for you is one out of Jamaica. And I want to start with this one because I needed a joke. I need a joke to get the evening going for me. So it has a story which is titled PM, meaning the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mr. Andrew Holness, has urged the citizens to reject the culture of dons. Claudette, you want to lead us on this, please, while I laugh?
Well, it would seem that you see, they're just realizing that the dons in areas are the problem, right? When it has been around for so long,
That's why I find it laughable.
yes, so it's not anything new. It's been going on for years, because the dons are who control certain areas in Jamaica, and the people, you know, they are the ones who are benefiting from them,
Can you please
so
explain? Can you, sorry to interrupt, can you please explain to our non-Jamaican viewers, who or what is a Don, please?
a Don is a person who is head of a community, a certain community, and
Is this person
he,
elected as head of the community?
no, 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 no. He's not an elected member of a community, but he is the one who says, this must be done, so this must be done. You have to do whatever they say, but they support you because they will give you money to help you with the children education, but but you have to do what is you are told, or whatever you should be doing. um
Isn't a Don a gangster?
well, yes. I would imagine he is a part of a gang, yes, because he has his what you call it,
The Don is the head of of the gang.
yes, so he has his, what you call them, help me out, Clara. His soldiers, call it that way.
Very good choice of word.
Yes, his soldiers who carry out, if anybody is out of line or anybody not doing whatever they need to do. And then, when voting time comes, you have to go with the flow.
So the Prime Minister just
So,
woke up to the fact that the Don is a problem.
yeah, because of the spiraling in drive-by mass shooting, we have been having several. And the last one we had, a Don was killed in the Mountain View, not Mountain View, out
Rockford, I think I
of
saw.
course, right. He was killed at a football. Imagine, a football game has children, women, whatever, and they just drive by and open.
But this is nothing new, Claudette.
I
I mean,
know.
I have not lived in Jamaica for over 20 years. And then before that, I lived in Europe for 7 years. So that's 29 years I've not lived in Jamaica. But ever since I was a child, and I'm almost 60 years of age, no shame in my game, Dons have
I'm
always been a
so
part
I'm
of
just
politics in
sorry.
Jamaica. So why is
Yes.
this minister now just
It's the
realizing
mass,
that?
it's just the mass shooting. No, the mass shooting where babies, even babies, they don't care now. They just drive and just shoot. Usually they would go into places and kill whoever, whatever, lay with them or whatever. But now they're doing what they're doing in the schools overseas. Mass shooting. They don't care who they kill.
Well, the
Stop
difference,
using that word, please.
I beg to differ, but the difference with the overseas one is that they don't really have a specific person that they go to get. Um,
No.
Jamaica
Yes.
now, they go for a target, they have a
Right.
target, but the thing is that they get collateral damage. And
Ah.
they don't really think about that, as long as they get their target. In
Mm-hmm.
in other places now where you have the mass shooting, it's just
Right.
shooting wildly, and whoever
Actually go for persons. They go for person, but they shoot
gets.
anyway.
So when the prime minister declared this his awakening that this is a problem, were there demonstrations? Because I know Jamaicans love to take to the streets to demonstrate,
There was
and
no demonstration.
they're supporting it. When I say, sorry, let me not generalize. The
Right.
Jamaicans in the areas that are controlled by Dons, did they protest the prime minister's declaration?
No, Nothing happened. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
So that,
So
I mean,
there's
a lot of people sometimes is tired of it. Sometimes their own family members is getting killed, and
Mm-hmm.
unalived ladies.
they don't want to talk up about it because of fear, and sometimes they really want it to stop. So
Exactly.
hence no demonstration. So
Okay.
But they can't come out and say anything, so they keep quiet.
So
so
the Dons are still really in control of them then.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing us for bringing us this story, Claudette. Like I said, I found it very laughable because in my personal, not just experience, knowledge, most dons are affiliated to one of the political parties,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the Jamaica Labour Party, which the Prime Minister is head of, the current Prime Minister, or the People's National Party. I mean, I asked somebody that, I mean, know that as a fact, right? So
It's true.
it seems what's the word I'm looking for? Disingenuous.
oh,
Disingenuous.
it's something refreshing. Sometimes we have to be positive.
Oh yes, Miss Positivity.
Yes, we
Yes.
have to throw some
Yes.
positive.
Yeah.
It sounds more to me like the U.S. government might have said, "Listen, you need to say something," and that's why he said, because nothing is going to happen. It's not going to change. I would
Yeah,
like to see Mr. Holness go and clean up Mountain View, Rockfort,
if
Arnett Gardens, Tivoli, and all the other places, both PMP and JLP areas where they're dance. I would like to see him or any prime minister go into any of those areas and try and clean it up.
that
And
would be.
listen, I am not saying I'm for crime and violence. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it sounds like lip service to me.
Here's my 2 pence.
Please.
If both parties could come together in an agreement,
Yes.
Where were you when Michael Manley and Edward Seaga stood on joined and their hands linked by Bob Marley, calling for peace and unity? Where were you? You weren't born yet? I'm sure you were born.
yeah,
This
but
is not
we were
both parties have come together numerous times.
let me put it this way. I was affiliated with those things. My parents kept us. Yes, we know about the parties and so on, but we weren't really out there following the bandwagon. So we weren't in the middle of it.
I
Um,
was.
I know. So you will know more than I do. So yeah, but the fact is that things and times are changing.
True.
Yes.
Just like how
Yes.
changing, we are hoping this can change also. We have to live in hope and not despair.
But
So
what is the okay? Fine. Colleen, you know me. What are the practical steps that have been taken? Don't tell me about the lip service. What
Nice
steps
talk,
have
Gloria.
been
Come in.
taken?
You know. No, you know.
Huh?
Sorry. Not you.
What
Sorry.
are the practical steps?
You
What
see,
plan
maybe.
B layout that will be done to
no,
ensure that the
I'm,
communities are no longer controlled by the dons?
I'm going to be
As,
honest. I don't know, but I'm
mm-hmm.
hoping that it would be something positive because of the experiences we have from the past experience that that you are reminding us about. We know that, but we are just hoping to go forward and hoping that a change will come.
Yes, Colleen, I agree with you. And
You
we
even
can be.
hope and die in Constant Spring.
And unfortunately, the instigators of that change is not going to come from any prime minister.
We're just hoping.
No,
It's
it's not
not.
going to come
It's
from
not
any
going to
prime
come
minister
from the prime
because
minister.
the prime minister
It's just
is
lip
the prime
service.
minister is one leader, but the way that this donmanship or womanship is entrenched.
Yeah, thanks for correcting that, because women are involved very
Oh
much.
yes, oh yes,
They're
oh yes.
donors around.
We even see the last big trial that lasted 8 months.
Yes.
I mean, there were
What
female leaders there, or
exactly? What's the name of that clansman?
yeah.
Yeah, same
But
one.
if we are to bring into focus like the recent incident with the Rockford incident, where the so-called done, and 2 weeks before he had a peace concert, and the guys decided that we're not defending that, and they get rid of him and his child. So if he was done before, I don't know anything about the gentleman, but my understanding is that, or the information that is going around, is that 2 weeks before he just came back to Jamaica, living in the States all this while. He was done before and come back and say, okay, let us be peaceful, and wanting to bring the fractions or factions together. And they said, we're not interested in that.
No, because they are gaining from the whatever, whatever war, whatever it is that they are gaining
And
from. So coming
and
to
they themselves, I don't know how long he has been away, but they themselves are protecting the empire that they have built.
Yeah, maybe
exactly.
been
And
established.
anybody who come in and try to threaten that, that's
Them
what
I
it's
forgot.
Better watch them.
So
Well, thank you,
I
Claudette, for giving us a very interesting start. And for those of you who are watching, you are watching these three things. It's a presentation of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. The Daughters of Sheba Foundation is a Canadian-based and registered non-profit organization based in Edmonton, Alberta, here in Canada. With me are my three friends, Colleen Creary Delamotta. Colleen is a member of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation and educator and admin of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. Clara Brown, the director and secretary of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, and Claudette Francisque, who is also a member of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation based in Kingston, Jamaica. We're going to take a quick break, and next we will come with my most boring story after that. After that excitement. Give me a moment here. Let me bring it up. Listen, you guys need to fire me because I did not do my job properly. I don't have my usual fandangles here. So excuse me. So let me just bring up my story. My story is out of Canada. It's the situation between Canada, an ongoing situation between Canada and the great India. So let me bring that up. I don't know. Okay, so the tensions recently, this is an ongoing situation between Canada and India. We have had tensions between us for years now. The recent diplomatic tensions are primarily linked to Canada's allegation of potential Indian involvement in the June 2023 assassination of a Sikh activist. I don't know if I need to say his name, Hardeep Singh or something like that, in British Columbia. So back in 2023, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, stated that he stated that the 2023 unaliving of this gentleman, that the Canadian intelligence pointed to credible evidence linking the Indian government to the unaliving of this man. When Justin Trudeau said that, this claim kind of made the relationship between Canada and India even worse, leading to reciprocal actions between both countries. Both sides expelling diplomats, India temporarily halting visa services for Canadians to India, mostly Indians going back to India for visits. And in October, this month, Canada recalled 41 of its diplomats from India after India removed its diplomatic immunity off of these diplomats. But where it gets interesting is the Trudeau has said that the Canadian intelligence has uncovered that there are Canadian players, politicians in particular, who are compromised. That's my word. That's not what he said, but he said that they're compromised, and it didn't get any better when the head of the Conservative Party of Canada refused to get his security clearance. And that has been, he was leading in the polls to probably win the upcoming elections. But this, I don't know if it's just a master move by Justin Trudeau to save his own skin, because a lot of people were, and myself included, quite concerned about what's happening in the country, particularly as it relates to immigration. So the timing of it could be all about politics, but the Conservative Party, led by, his name is Pierre Poilievre, says that he's not getting his has refused to get his clearance so that he can look at the documents. And this has raised questions as to why he doesn't want to be checked out, to be screened. And the implication is that he's one of, I think it's just like in Jamaica where you have 6 people. I think Justin Trudeau said that there's about 6 of them who are quote unquote compromised. That's my word. That they were engaged or at high risk of being puppets of foreign interference. So that's where we are today here in Canada. And that's my story of the day. I don't know if anybody have any questions, and it is not the first allegation of international interference. I mean, every day the US interfere apparently, but aside from the US, there have been previous reports about China as well, not to mention Russia interfering in Canadian politics. Oh, Claudette dropped off. I guess she'll be back shortly. So that's the story. That's my story. Here she is.
My concern is, I don't understand how these two big
I stepped away for a while.
You don't understand how these two what, Colleen?
Big countries, strong countries like Canada and India, why they are doing this? To me, it seems childish. Move tit for tat. Yes, they have grosses. Why can't they just behave in a
I love you dearly, Colleen, but sometimes I want to lick you over your head.
diplomatic manner, come together around the table and discuss the thing properly and work out a solution, instead of you throw away 6 of my people, so I'm going to throw away 6 of
But
yours.
that's how it goes, Colleen. That's how diplomatic relationship goes. That's how it goes. It's not just Canada and India. Sorry, Clara, go ahead.
No, I mean, this big fight now is not unusual. That's how the West runs their economies. That's how the West runs where they will try to reposition themselves as who has the biggest stick and wield that stick as they wish. And who benefits in the end, or who suffers in the end? The citizens of these countries.
Always.
I don't know which citizen of Canada is suffering from whatever is going on with India. The only people in Canada who quote unquote might suffer from this are the Indian Canadians, the Indo-Canadians, to be frank, because like when they say that, I mean, let me be honest. I am biased. I have a serious problem. It's a personal problem. I have a serious problem with the Canadian Indian immigration. situation. I have a serious problem with the flood of East Indians in Canada and their attitude towards the country. So that's my bias. So them could lock it down for all I personally care. I know that sounds childish, according to Colleen, but
and history has shown that they did the same thing in the UK
who
years
India?
ago.
India.
Yes, that's
Yes.
just their way.
They're flexing. They have
now become the most populated
exactly.
country,
No,
and they
you hit the
cannot
nail on
manage
the
it.
head.
They
No,
cannot
you hit the nail on the
manage
head,
it.
Clara.
So wherever they go, they
I
just
totally agree with you. Their economy is in a mess. The majority
is.
of their people are quote unquote suffering, and they're looking places to let these people loose. And unfortunately,
Exactly.
Justin Trudeau, unfortunately, over his watch, has allowed them to. I wish I had it. Calgary.
Posturing that
Recently there was a picture when I migrated to Canada almost 22 years ago. One of the reasons my then partner and I migrated was we talked about how orderly Canada was. Recently there was a news story showing East Indians mainly. It's East Indians. There might be some Pakistani in it, I don't know, but it's from that side of the world. In Calgary, storming a train. The train pulled into the train station. And normally when a train comes in, people orderly in a line get on the train after allowing people to come. These people swarmed the train like they wanted to go on the top of the train like they do in India.
Yes, I was about to say that.
And everybody is seriously is in shock about what's happening with the Indians in Canada. They're crapping on the beaches. They are rude. It's ridiculous what's happening. And Clara, you just hit the nail on the head. India, the government as a policy is looking for outlets for its people. And anybody they cannot manage what's going on in their country. And anybody who's against them, who speaks out against them, apparently like the gentleman who it is claimed or it is alleged that was unalived. The Indian government, just like how the Russian government go after dissidents, the Indian government is it's alleged are going after people, dissidents in other countries. They're doing it. So what you want us to do? I think it's about time. Personally, I am fed up. I am fed up. And I don't live in the worst of it. Go into Ontario, into Brampton, and you see the worst of it.
All I'm saying is that too much masculine energy is
Here we go. Here, my girl.
the balance.
Here, my girl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. We have two more.
Canada in recent times has been posturing. I don't know if posture is a good, but the scenario where they are underpopulated and they have been inviting all nations to come and to populate this place.
Yeah.
But with that, you have to have control. And you can't have the control after you open the gates.
After you open the gates.
And the flood came in.
I know, and that's exactly what has happened. You know, Canada has always, because I remember my mom 50 years ago wanted to migrate to Canada because there was this open invitation, for people to come here. That's how I came to Canada. I didn't marry anybody to come here or anything. I came as a educated person. They had at the time a point system, and I applied and waited my 18 months to be processed, and that's how I got here. And so that has always been the policy. But Justin Trudeau seemed to just lost the game when he just opened the country and just allowed these not just from India, but people from all over to just come in and claiming to be students. And now they're all scrambling because they have finally realized that this is a problem and say, no, when you finish your studies, you're leaving. That is the latest declaration. When you're finished your studies, you're leaving. And a certain person, I will not call their names, but a certain person you all probably know from Jamaica, was a big thing when he got here. He is fretting because they're now saying, you got to leave. Not just him, obviously, but how can you say you come to a country to study? You come on a 2-year program, and when the people say, okay, your program is finished, time to go, you're going to be going on a hunger strike. You don't want to leave the people's country.
Most people who apply
because apparently there is a caveat that you have an option to stay for another 2 or so
No,
years.
it's not an option. It's you can, if you qualify, you can stay.
apply.
And what a lot of people have done, so they move from province to province. So they come into Ontario, and then Saskatchewan might have a more lenient system. So they enter through Ontario, and then they transfer their studies to Saskatchewan because they have a system, a easier way of, after you're here for 6 months and you have this amount of experience, you can apply, and that's illegitimate. They came with that understanding, but the government can change its mind at any time. Who are you to tell the government that they can't change its mind, and you're going to protest and go on hunger strike? And they've even been marching and demonstrating. Go home. They don't want to go home because India is in a mess.
They don't have no home to go back to.
India is in a
They don't have any
mess.
home to go back to.
It wants to stay.
Anyway.
They don't have any home to go back to. Nope.
Anyway.
If life is good where you are, why would you want to go back into a life where there's hardship?
Yeah, but fine. I get that. I get that. I mean, I'm an immigrant myself, but
why don't you take your educated self and go and build where you're coming from?
They don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that.
And a lot of them came in. A lot of them came in.
That means
and
that their intention was.
They didn't even finish their program. They didn't finish their program because of the various loopholes. They didn't even finish the program that they came for. A lot of them came in because when you're entering, you're supposed to have X amount of money to take care of yourself. They're storming food banks, collecting food from food banks. That is there for people in need, not for international students. It was never meant for international students. Anyway, I can go on and on about that, but that's where we are here in Canada right now with our relationship with India. And I don't know what's going to happen in terms of the election, but I know Justin Trudeau is on thin waters, even with me, for just over the immigration issue. No other issue, but he has made a mess of immigration. That's my feeling. All right. I apologize that I do not have our fancy thing. I need to get it back. We're going to move now over to, do we go back to Jamaica? Yes, let's go back to Jamaica and talk about Clara's story, which is another one that's laughable. It's another story. This is out of Jamaica, and it has to do with baptism. And I'd love to hear what the church has to say about this one. Clara?
Sorry.
Share the joke. You're laughing about regulating baptism.
When you said that there's another story that is laughable, and I started laughing because that's what I thought too, and that's how I was going to start. I was just about to say, yeah, and we continue with the comedy. Um, I for this session, I had a difficulty choosing a story because
There are
some of
so
them were
many
so
jokes.
heavy.
Clara,
No,
me too.
some of them were ultra heavy, and I just thought I would just come here and have a good laugh and share the joke. But on a serious note, we must have seen the sorry, the recent event with a church group conducting baptism in a river.
And the person was sure.
Oh, she needs to
All
laugh.
all non-swimmers, and including John the Baptist himself. But for me, the way I was socialized, baptism has always been a very sacred and serious event, and quite symbolic as it relates to the following of Jesus Christ, who was also baptized by John the Baptist. And therefore, those of us who follow the Christian faith see baptism as a very serious symbol.
Ritual.
But in recent times, and when I say recent times, I mean with the evolution of these non-denominational churches, they have been using the wider water space or waterways to carry out their baptisms. And to me, some of them are very frivolous and lackluster or lack significance. And now it has come to the attention of all that there's going to be need to regularize the system to conduct baptisms.
How? Why?
With all the other issues, national and international issues.
Like the dons.
With all of those issues having to deal with, so now to take time out to go and regularize how baptisms are conducted. If this is not laughable, show me something else that is.
I'm trying to figure out whose idea, who's leading this. Sorry, I'm scrolling.
Just a general discussion based on, well, I thought that the last event that was all over social media and elsewhere, where they were all watching, I thought they're drowned, but no, I understand that they were eventually saved. So the Holy Spirit must have intervened.
So hold on. Let me see if I'm understanding. So baptism, whether you're a non-denominational church or what, but baptism is part of the rituals and sacraments of the Christian faith, of the Christian tradition. So where's this coming from? Is this coming from one section of the church? or is this coming from the government that is concerned about the safety of people being baptized in any pan of water anywhere? Where is this coming from?
It's coming from, well, it's not coming from the government, but people, perhaps from the church, from the established churches. I was trying to see who was advocating for this. Think that these other churches who are using the wide-bodied waters to carry out the baptism, it should be, they're endangering the lives of the people.
So if me want to go get baptized in a Dunn's River, whose business is that?
I don't think that is it.
So, all right, Colleen, because you understand this thing. So what is it?
You're cleansing yourself so the seawater can be clean.
No, it's not the clean. It's not the clean water.
What do you mean the seawater can be clean? What are you talking about, Claudette?
It's not a matter of being clean.
No. I'm talking about endangering the lives of the people. That's the concern.
Right.
Because
yes,
if even the last.
All right, so tell me something. The last time I was doing my theological degree, and I did it at a Catholic university. I don't recall them saying that Jesus was baptized in a church. So where is this coming? What is the theology that supports non-baptism in open-bodied water? Where is that theology?
It has to do with safety.
There is nothing wrong. They are using that more, and I don't think the advocacy is asking that you use a church pool or a building.
Okay.
I think the advocacy is the safety, to make sure that you do it in a safe environment.
Because
and therefore, I don't know if the result of that or what they need from this attempt to regularize and issue permits is that
Somebody
you
look
have,
to make money.
for example, it's like, for example, you would have like a lifeguard, or you do it in a pool, or because that last video with the raging river and the dirty water and the 2 week pastors who couldn't.
I think that they don't have no sense. Those people that, I'm sorry to say, but the pastor, whoever chose to do it right there, should have known that, I mean, it's running water. They should be more careful than that. They can't be carrying people out there and not assessing the safety of the water first. And they can't even swim. So
exactly.
Hence they have, I mean, it's not the first time that something like this has happened. Usually when something happens more than once, then somebody really start taking notice of what is going on. And it's not the first it has happened. Hence somebody starts saying, you know, maybe we have to put something in place to avoid this from happening again. And that is that.
So do you agree with it, Colleen, that there needs to be a permit for baptism?
I don't think a permit is necessary per se, but they have to have some kind of safety, something safe measures put in place, because.
But you can't have safety measures unless you have regulations. And then you're moving towards a regulated activity, which is not supposed to be.
Maybe when they're gonna have baptism, they said where they're gonna have it, you know, like the government would say, they will have to say when you're gonna have a baptism where, and ensure that it is safe to do so.
Jamaica, the government, the church and the state, what?
The heads of churches, then whoever is in charge.
Exactly, not government, but the head of churches.
The head hurt me, because it sounds to me like as Clara
I'm
said,
not speaking now.
people that have nothing to do
It's what
with
not when we go.
with everything that's
Not when
going
we
on in
go.
the world. This is
I've
the
been
hill
here
you're
all the
going to
time.
die on.
The thing,
Claudette, I'm hearing you.
there was
One
a
nearly
recent event also in Johannesburg, which resulted in 2 persons drowning, and then the church had to come out and defend themselves. Say, oh, it wasn't the baptism; it's just that once they started, then there was a flash flood and swept them away. But
you should
find Jordan River.
area. It's a flood prone area, so why choose to do it there? You know, might as well go back to doing it in the church pools or make a church pool or something. Even though I've seen near drowning in church pool too. Uh, Somebody almost drowned the poor pastor because she felt like she was drowning. So I mean that one was hilarious, but thank God everybody was okay.
Well, they all are.
Oh
But
Lord. Moving right along. Thank you for the comic relief. Another moment of comic relief, because me never hear them. Moving right along. Moving right along. Let us go to the United Kingdom, and Colleen is going to take us there with her. Let me find her story, because I really don't understand the priority that people put on things. Colleen, lead us through. I don't have your exact story that you sent me. Sorry, but meaning from the newspaper that you sent me. But this is more or less says the same thing.
I can
All right.
summarize it in a nutshell. Short and tall about this. When I saw it, I was like, this woman must be crazy. No, she killed,
The unalived.
she unalived both her parents. She's an adult in her 30s, and she unalived both parents. And I really, really don't get the reason why. But let me tell you what happened anyway. She she poisoned her father. Both parents are in their 70s. She accumulated some medication, prescription medication, and she bought crushing thing, something to crush it, and she put it in his alcohol, his liquor. Probably he likes to drink his little evening liquor, and she put it in there, poisoned her father, and unalived him. And then
Is English.
one day she beat, battered her mother, and maybe the battering didn't kill her. It didn't unalive her enough, so she stabbed her to ensure that she was unalived. And then she kept the bodies in the house, wrapped them up and put them in little tombs, kept them in the house. I mean, that house must smell bad. But then when the people were asking about them, she told them that they were either gone on vacation or they weren't feeling well while she was there using their credit card, using their pension money, enjoying herself, and just living with the stench of the dead bodies in the home. That, that could not be somebody who has sense. She something is gravely, gravely wrong with her.
The little snippet that I saw of this, they said that when the police were talking to her, she was very calm and.
So that's the whole point. And she said
Mental health
she didn't
is
know it.
real.
Sooner or later they would have caught up with her, and it was like neither here nor there. She was ready to go to jail.
And she was telling them where this is and where that was.
Yes, It's
She's
like
happy
she
that
had her,
she don't have to spell that again.
yeah, she it's like she finished entertaining herself now. She's ready, whatever comes now. She's ready and she's okay with whatever, she gets because of it. And she said, well, it's true they need to like she's agreeing that they need to put her in prison.
When people talk about our foundation is woman focused, and everything that we do is centered around the woman. But I'm always, we talk about femicide a lot, which is the unaliving of women simply because they're women and the power, they can be overpowered and targeting them because they're considered, not as equal as men. But I always caution and say that women can be as bad as men. They can any kind of wickedness that a man can do, a woman can do.
Exactly.
And this is another story that points to that. I heard Clara saying mental health, and is that an excuse?
No, not at all. It's not. But when Colleen
See,
was making the point that something must be wrong with her,
no matter
of
how
course,
parents are, even no matter how bad your parents are,
of course.
ever do that. I don't know. I don't know. So that's why I'm saying that
I mean, no matter how bad the parents are. Hold on. So
There's no
have you
bad
been
parent.
following the case of the Mendez brothers who they're thinking of, or the people are calling for them to be released from prison?
13, she's not a child. I'm
Okay.
not a teenager. She's in her 30s.
Okay.
She
Do we
can
know
No,
what do we have any idea
she's in
of
her
what the
30s
relation?
now.
She's exactly that's what I'm asking Clara. Do we have any information as to what happened prior to this between her and the parents?
looking
Does
at
she said
no,
anything?
no, she didn't.
I'm not trying to justify what she did, and I'm just asking.
But based on what she's doing, I don't know what happened previously because I've been looking. I didn't see any story to tell me what experiences she had, why she would like break, because she must be something break her to do. I don't know.
No, there must be some breaking, as it could be a psychotic break or something. But I'm not trying to make any excuses for her. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just wondering if there was a history of
Yeah.
abuse, and they got to that age, and she finally said,
Enough is
okay,
enough.
enough is enough. My turn.
But
I
Let
don't
the
know.
boys.
yeah, but living with them,
That's the
but
part. That's the part.
yeah, that is it. I mean, unaliving them is one thing, but to have the bodies and living with it and try to let people think they're still alive while using the money. I don't know if it has a connection there. I don't know, but it just seems sick.
It is sick.
Very.
I'm not going to say no matter what they did to her. I'm not going to say that, because while at the same time I am not condoning unaliving anybody, but I'm just saying that yeah, they living with the bodies for 4 years while you're spending their money and having a good time, that's sick.
One can
That's
think of all the kind of excuses to tell everybody so as not to let them, know what happened. She had she have some sense there because she would think of excuses, to tell other people to throw them off. It's the doctor who persisted and decided that, something must be wrong. And he was the one who alerted the authorities who went,
okay.
yes, and they went to the house. And that's when, because she got discovered, she just said, what the hell? And just spill the beans.
Wow. All
So
right. So we went from comedy to madness. We went from comedy to madness. Well, and in between, we stopped at Indians crapping on the beaches in Canada. Hey,
Not a
what a
form
night.
of madness.
Now we're heading back to Jamaica. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you for sharing that. Like I said, women, we are capable of as much evil as a man is. I am not making any excuses for this or any other woman who decide to do some madness. Claudette, are you coming back to join us? We want to wrap up tonight with your final story. I don't know where she has gone to. Does any of you are any of you familiar with Claudette's final story? Something about praedial larceny. Let me bring it up. I don't know where she went. Let me bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. So it says here that praedial larceny arrest increases. Any of you heard about this? And we're back in Jamaica, and this is where we're going to end the night in Jamaica. Let me just take a time to thank Doreen Lorna for being with us. She is a comment that I saw earlier. Good evening. I know it's late to be acknowledging you, but we were on a roll, so my apologies. Claudette, are you here? Are you here? Anybody know this story about?
Well,
Go ahead.
no. I know that praedial larceny has been an ongoing issue in this little island, and the poor farmers are getting a real hit, even especially the small farmers who depend on farming and agriculture. Not only agriculture, but also the thieves just go in and just steal their goats and cows. It is rampant here, very rampant, and the government sees it fit to get special forces, people trained to go out there and it's like police the agricultural sector to catch these criminals. And they have been successful in a couple of arrests and convictions.
Well, it sounds like they made, according to the thing that the news clip that Claudette sent me, just in that one alone, they made like almost 100 arrests.
That's significant progress in addressing the problem.
They call them agricultural wardens. And
this has been plaguing.
They recruited some new ones the other day and send them out. They bought them a vehicle that will help them move around, and they're going to put some in the fishing sector also to help man the area, because I'm telling you, Claudette, it's terrible. Because I know a lot of small farmers, a few, not a lot, but people with a little household have a few goats and especially goats, and the poor people can't keep their little goats in their yard because thieves come in there and they take in the goat, and the person will alarm and said, no, you can't. They show them the gun and said, you better stay inside and shut up.
Wow.
And they can't say a thing. They just have to watch them stealing their goats.
Just last year in my deep rural area of St. Anne, there was an incident where a car licensed and registered in Kingston was used to go into the district, and when they were intercepted, they had 13 goats in the car.
13?
Yeah,
13 goats.
In a car?
They cleaned out the man's farm. 13 goats.
Tell you.
In a motor car. You know
Yep.
they never let you come out though.
Well, we laughed at the government and we laughed at the people who talk about regulating baptism, but we're closing the night with
Left,
a good news story of progress against the lawlessness. So I'm glad to hear that. So um, this is how we're going to end the night, folks. I don't know what happened. Oh, Claudette disappeared, and maybe her internet went down. Um, I don't know if you guys have any last words. Are you hopeful that this unit, this, what do you call it? What you said I call it? What kind of warden? Agricultural warden. I think there's
agricultural.
something similar in Australia. I was watching a movie recently, and they had
Yeah,
something similar in Australia about agricultural wardens.
I think that's the blueprint they're using.
From Australia. Okay, Claudette,
Australia and Singapore.
okay, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. Claudette, we did your story. We couldn't wait on you to but is there anything you want to summarize and tell us about from your perspective, the praedial larceny and the success that the newly appointed agricultural wardens have had?
Praedial larceny is something that is, again, is something that has been happening for ever so long. But it's got getting worse because people are more desperate to take things that don't belong to them, you know, and get away with it. So now they're trying to set up some kind of something that can, they could control it, just like the dance. Yeah.
Nobody can control the dance. Maybe it's the dance they should send to go and be agricultural wardens.
Things got out of control, and now,
No, they
they
have more
want to really
sophisticated
they
establishments to
want
get
to bring things
their
in,
monies,
But it's a
extortion
good
and all
thing,
that,
he's trying. He's a young man.
and
He's
property
trying.
owners, landlords.
So
Once
is this a pilot project or is it fully implemented across the
No,
island?
It's something.
it's
It's
across the
something that
island.
he's, yes, a pilot project. Something putting in,
You,
trying
you,
to get.
you keep saying he. Who is he? You mean the Minister of Agriculture?
The Ministry of, yes, Minister Green.
Okay, okay,
Paul
okay.
Green. Yes, he's a young man and he's trying, and I really like his approach
oh,
and
Mhm.
his way. So, we just need to give him a chance and see what's happened with what he's trying to put in place.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for being here for another month, another episode of these 3+ things. I love the conversation tonight. I love the laughs, and I love, I'm glad that we're ending on a good note. I mean, it's it's an unfortunate situation, as Colleen said. Farmers cannot benefit.
Right.
I've known farmers who this is what they used to send the children to school. I remember when I was a kid, I would spend my summers for about 4 years. Every summer, I would go to a little district in St. Mary, which is on the coast of Jamaica. For those of you who are not from Jamaica, in Aracabessa, I used to spend my summers along there. And every child in that house, there was a ram goat. That household had a ram goat for each child, and
Mhm,
it had a
mhm,
designation that this was going to pay for the school fee, or this was going to, so
Okay.
when a family loses their goat, especially a ram goat, um,
it set them back.
significant. It's a significant setback.
Mhm.
Of
So
course.
to
expensive. Very,
and
very
ram
expensive.
goats are very expensive. Any kind of farm animal.
And it can, yes,
It's not
because
not in the field for it. They are being robbed. But even when they take the goods down to the market, they have to pay, certain money, taxes, whatever you call it, you know, and then the transportation. this per bag, because I was down there once and it's like 3,500 per bag that they have to pay for coming in with the transportation. So imagine if you have several bags and think how much money that is. And then to have a space in the market, you have to pay for that as well. And then you have those who figure that, oh, me want that, and take it up and go with it. So they're being robbed all around.
Boy,
And they have to
what?
work
I don't want to be a
good.
Debbie Downer as it relates to this article, but the sad thing about it is that these thieves have a market that they're supplying.
yep.
Yes, yes.
They do. I mean, there is
So
no. There's
they're
a demand.
basically
There must be a
filling an
demand.
order.
Yeah,
They're filling
yeah,
an order.
yeah. And the people who are buying from the thieves, they're just as responsible. So
Of
If
course,
you know,
they should be
if you
locked up
know,
too. They should be locked up and they should
because
be arrested too.
I mean, it's totally not connected, and I'm not calling these women goats. Please don't get me wrong, but I remember there was an initiative here in Edmonton where with prostitution, where they stopped paying sole attention to the prostitutes and were going after the Johns as well, because they said that the prostitutes wouldn't be on the road if there wasn't a demand, so they targeted the Johns. So it's the same thing, like Clara is saying, that it's one thing to grab the thieves, but you need to also grab the people who are placing the orders for the 13 goats. Clara was telling us before you came back, Claudia, that there's somebody went to her district in St. Anne and with a car and was moving out with 13 goats in a car. Can you imagine how
yes,
the car smell bad?
yes,
They don't care.
yes.
They have an order.
It's crazy.
Well,
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just the end.
Saturday's Masters
I just
funeral.
this reminds me of a recent story that I heard about. Again, yes, I'm not bashing them, but I saw it where some East Indians were at a beach or somewhere fishing. They just throw their fishing rods out and they were fishing, and people were saying, listen, we need a fishing license in Canada. You need if you're going to hunt anything, you need to get a license. You don't just throw your fishing net out and start fishing. It's against the law.
They're coming from a system where there's
But
no
we do that
order.
in Jamaica. We go
As
on
a class
Palisades Road and you see them throw out the line and fishing.
Here, so you can't do it. I mean, you can, but we too have. I don't think they call it wardens, but we have the people who will come and the game and something officer, wildlife and something officers. They will ask to see your license for fishing. Your fishing license. So oh my God, my God, my God. I don't know. I don't know. Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you for another interesting evening of until next month, November. We will see what comes up. In December we need, what we need to do in December? We need to go back to all of these stories that we have covered and do an update to see where
Recap.
a recap to see where we are, what happened, I mean, at least some of the more spectacular ones, let me say.
Okay.
Thank you, Colleen.
So-
Thank you, Claudette. Thank you, Clara, for being here for another night. Thank you for those of you who stuck with us.
My sister will be buried on Saturday, so I
Oh,
have that to deal with.
okay. We will speak off there.
Okay, bye. Bye, ladies.
Have
Good
a good
night.
everybody. Rest well.
Good night.
All right. Good
Thanks
night.
everybody for joining us until next month.